For some time now, the media has been deliberately misleading the people. Despite startling information, many of the media personalities that you know and trust deliberately overlooked very serious information.
I saw this story on Drew Story News. You can see his YouTube account here. And he had some very shocking evidence that shows that a lot of these women who are accusing him of rape either were making up the story as they were going, where they actually changed their story, or in some cases, some of these women weren't raped at all, but they're just joining the whole group of women who are accusing them of rape. So actually you can divide these women into three groups. The first group is women that have been shown to have been lying. The second group being women who were actually not raped, never accused him of rape, but rather accused him of something, else, like he kissed me or something like this. And then the third group would be women who accused him of rape but actually have no evidence that he raped them. And actually, you're going to see how ridiculous this is. The first woman we cover is just your jaw's going to drop. It's just so obvious she's lying. It's ridiculous. Okay, so let's just go through this video. I just wanted to first stop here and show you that Bill Cosby never admitted to drugging women to rape them. All he admitted to was giving drugs to women who knowingly took them, not giving them drugs secretly where they didn't know or were aware that he was giving them to them. Okay, there's a big difference. In one case, the woman is willingly taking the drug on her own. In the other case, the man would be deceiving her so that he could rape her. A completely big difference. So apparently the media didn't seem to think it was relevant to point out the fact that he wasn't ever admitting to drugging women to rape them. But they made it sound as if that's what he was saying. So you see how that's sort of a big deal? Just slightly leave out a little fact there and just kind of go with it. Hey, let's just torch this guy on national TV before he even has a trial.
Let's take an honest look at some of these women, case by case.
You're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today.
Janice Dickinson, which is really no surprise to anyone. She typically uses celebrity names to embellish her stories in books, and Dickinson simply revamped an old Cosby tale to jump on the Cosby rape bandwagon.
TV star is joining us. Ms. Dickinson, thank you for being with us.
I can't breathe because of Bill Cosby.
What do you mean?
I can't breathe because I haven't slept in weeks, and with everything that's going on, I haven't been able to breathe like the whole nation is doing right now, protesting. I am protesting because of the unresolved issues due to rape from Bill Cosby.
From him? Oh, from him.
I'm just starting to exhale, and I will say this, I sobbed all weekend, not just for me, for what's going on with these other women. I'm in huge gratitude to the Los Angeles Police Department, Thank you guys and gals out there.
30 years ago she was raped, and now she can't breathe.
That this guy gets his cup up, and
apparently she can't talk either.
Ms. Dickinson, so when you came forward, you really put a name and a face to
I don't know what to say to that, but I know that I am an American, and I know that this country was based on two premises: freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. Okay?
People trained in the art of bullshit discern that Dickinson has a pattern. She augments stories and changes them based on what works to gain traction. Dickinson's old story was that Cosby blew her off after dinner because she wouldn't sleep with him. In fact, she's told this story many times. Her new story is that Cosby did not blow her off. The two peas in a pod instead hit it off famously and partied on up to his hotel room. In his hotel room, Cosby mysteriously handed her a pill, exactly like a lot of the other women getting press, and for unknown reasons, she just swallowed it. She didn't explain why she swallowed it. She didn't explain if she knew what she was. She just said, oh, Cosby handed me a pill, and so I swallowed it, and then I blacked out. You can believe that. Anyway, for unknown reasons, she just swallowed it. And just like that, something never uttered before in her life of celebrities, modeling, and showbiz had instantly become a major solitary event in her life that the poor soul never even told anyone. Janice Dickinson was raped by Bill Cosby. Again, there is absolutely no one who was told about this because it didn't happen. Even her old manager warned the public not to believe her drivel. Dickinson will say anything to get money, to get attention, and stay relevant, even accusing a man of rape.
Okay, so that was just one woman, and there's 30 of them. Well, technically, there's only probably 20 that accuse him of rape, and 10 have been shown to be liars, and the other 10 have sort of stories that don't really make sense. And then the other 10 just say that, well, he made advances at me, he tried to kiss me, things like this, right? So let's go through more of these. This is just number one. It was the most ridiculous one of all of them from what I can tell so far, but the other ones are not much better, so let's watch.
Let's start with the most conspicuous case of false reporting and deception. The latest and perhaps the most serious case was that of former Playboy model Chloe Goines.
This has been how many years?
It's been almost 7 years now.
He brought you something to drink, right?
Yes.
How long after you were given that did you feel any effect? Was it immediately or was it half hour, hour?
It was very quick afterwards.
And he offered to assist you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Her case was the most serious because hers still fell within the statute of limitations. However, Chloe Goines totally goofed and her case fell flat. Goines, who is a convicted prostitute, picked a bad day and chose an event Cosby didn't even attend. As she gave an elaborate story about how she was drugged at this event by Cosby, it came to light that in the days before, during, and after, Cosby was approximately 2,500 miles away in another state.
She does not claim Cosby raped her. She does not claim Cosby raped her. She does not claim Cosby raped her, but her attorney. The LAPD has finished its investigation and has turned it over to the DA.
Everything Chloe Goines alleged was impossible and did not happen. When Cosby's lawyers at the time presented this to the authorities, her lawyer released a statement about her memory due to trauma, and then she slithered away. No one has condemned her and the media left it alone. TMZ did expose this, but other big networks like CNN, NBC, they all left it alone.
Okay, so now you have to ask yourself, why did the media leave it alone? Why didn't they report the truth, report the news as they're supposed to do? Why is it they are all in collusion to try and convict a man that's allegedly innocent till proven guilty? So we have a woman who clearly made up a lie here. She alleged that he drugged her while he's in another place, 2,500 miles away, another state. He's completely in a different location with a very solid alibi before, during, and after this alleged drugging, right? But of course, how does it work, in the media? When you want to tarnish someone's reputation, all you got to do is put out a lie, but then you don't have to detract it. Or you can detract it, in the real small fine print on page 132 of your newspaper, kind of like that, Front page news. Bill Cosby, drugged and raped this girl. Oh, shit, we were completely wrong. He was in a completely different place and she just made it all up. Let's put that on page 132 in small print, where nobody will ever read it or hear about it, Isn't that nice of them to do that, to be fair and balanced and report the news in the right way?
Another Cosby accuser with epic memory failure is Louisa Moritz.
Nice to meet you.
What brings you to the event today?
I just wanted to, my publicity agent called me, and we came right over.
All right. What have you been doing recently?
Recently, I've been doing tests.
Moritz gave a story that Cosby inserted his member into her mouth in a dressing room at The Tonight Show in 1971. If you really just thought about it logically, the whole story just sounded really weird and strange and not true. Like Cosby is just some wild beast who just walked into a dressing room and put his penis in her mouth. The story was already in the bullshit zone just because of what she said, but I'll continue. She claimed that on a night that they were both featured on The Tonight Show that he did this and then threatened her, saying, "You don't want anything bad to happen to your career now, do you?" Okay, here's a few problems. Cosby wasn't a big deal in 1971. He didn't even make Fat Albert yet. He was just a Hollywood actor, just like anybody else. He had no power. So that was the sign number one that she's full of shit. But here's the thing that makes it interesting. When they included Moritz in the list of accusers, either no one did their research or they overlooked a huge problem that came out later. Cosby and Moritz never appeared on the same night of The Tonight Show in 1971.
But that's not possible.
Yeah. After the internet database was checked and this was brought to her attention, she claimed that there were things she doesn't recall and things she may have forgotten, and then she escaped without explaining the huge problem with her tale. She also said, "I thought that was the year." In other words, she lied.
Oh my goodness, where do they get these people from? I mean, where do they dig them up at? I mean, she looked like she was dug up out of a graveyard. Okay, so those two young women were interviewing her, and it sounded like they were interviewing Ozzy Osbourne. As if she took way too many drugs, and it's just not exactly all there anymore. Maybe that's why she got the year wrong. Besides the fact she was probably only on The Tonight Show once, and it wasn't when he was on The Tonight Show, so yeah. I'm thinking, does this make any sense to you? Let's just, theorize this in our head. Let's just kind of explore this a little bit. Okay, so she was on The Tonight Show on a completely different time and date than Bill Cosby. But for some reason, Bill Cosby thought it was in his best interest to show up at The Tonight Show when he wasn't going to be on the show, completely unannounced, just somehow walk past security and just somehow get into her dressing room, and then he just whipped it out and somehow got it down her throat when she wasn't looking or something, and said, "Hey, you want a career? You better do something here." You know what I mean? You better do something here, right? Yeah, I'm thinking at that point she would have bit it off, and then he would have been not in a good situation, right? So this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's ridiculous. It's beyond bizarre. It's just unbelievable, to be honest. Actually, this might be the worst of the stories so far. So if you want to believe it, go ahead.
The next is former Playboy playmate P.F. Madsen. This one is very interesting indeed. Here's a look at her in action.
Your reaction to hearing what Bill Cosby admitted to under sworn testimony?
Complete validation. Across the board, from all of us, complete validation. And he fixed a drink behind me. I took 2 sips, and that's the last thing I remember.
Really?
Until 2 sips. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up in bed, naked, bruised and battered. And I looked over, and he was there, naked, and I slivered out of the bed because I didn't want to wake him, and I gathered my clothes, and I got dressed, and I went downstairs, and I got a cab. went to my apartment, took a shower. I had to go back to work at Playboy. I had to get the girls on the floor. And I went back to work.
Did you have a memory of what happened between that drink and...
I don't have any memory at all of what happened, but I knew that I was brutally raped. I knew it.
Something is not right.
Now, most people may not remember her, but this isn't her first rodeo. Remember Marv Albert? Back when Marv was having his bout of legal trouble, Mattson, then referred to as Patricia Mattson, came forth and said that he raped her too. There are striking similarities between both cases. Marv Albert was in hot water for allegedly raping and biting a woman. Mattson joined the Gloria Allred-led lawsuit and claimed Marv Albert raped and bit her too, just like the other woman. Albert and his lawyer called her claims a completely fabricated lie. Now, interestingly enough, with Cosby, she wasn't raped and bitten. This time she's claiming she was drugged and raped, just like the other women in this lawsuit, also led by Gloria Allred.
Okay, so I wanted to make clear what he was actually saying there, because when I watched this video, I got it, but I didn't get it, you know what I mean? What he's saying is that she, in the first lawsuit against this man, Marv Albert, she fabricated a story that was the equivalent to another woman's story of being raped and bitten by this Marv Albert. So they both had the same story. Two women, her and this other woman, that Marv Albert bit and raped them both. And she was represented by this celebrity lawyer, Gloria Allred, who seemingly always has some sort of celebrity from the latest top story that she's defending. Gee, I wonder if that's on purpose, right? Okay, so this woman, Mattson, that's accusing Bill Cosby of drugging and raping her, was actually called out and outed by the initial victim, Vanessa Perhatch, who was allegedly raped by Marv here. Okay, so she was already called out by a real victim from a different man as being a fake and just jumping on the story. So she's already been known to jump onto stories and fake rapes. Okay? She's been known already to do this. To jump onto a story, claim a fake rape, even outed by a real victim from someone in the past. So a real victim from this guy outed her as a fraud. And she jumped onto that story back then with the same alleged rape story, as sort of cloning herself into the story, right? And that's what she's doing here. She's cloning herself into Bill Cosby with all the alleged rape allegations on his side. So most likely she's a liar, as you can see. You see how that works?
Carla Ferrigno. Although there are a few of them, Carla Ferrigno is a perfect example of many of the Cosby accusers who are masquerading in the news media pretending to be Cosby victims when in actuality nothing ever happened to them. And there was never much to her story to merit this much attention. In her own words and written statements, this is what happened. Her, Cosby, and some other people were playing pool. Then it was eventually just her and Bill Cosby. At some point, Bill Cosby made a move and kissed her. She pulled away, and Bill Cosby asked what's wrong. She said, "I don't know, it's just I never kissed a black man before." Then she turned around and she left. That's it. I wish I was kidding, but that's really all there is. So what she did was just add a little salt and pepper and embellished on some exaggerations in order to make the story a story. So she added some details every time that she spoke about it and made it seem like it was some sort of a struggle that she escaped from, and tells the media that she got away.
Somewhere in the middle of that, I turned around and there was nobody in the room at all, just him and I. He grabbed me, like powerful. He was a big man. He had me up against him and kissed me in the mouth. And I just pushed him. He grabbed me, kissed me right in the mouth. And then and that's when I just went, whoa. And I ran down the hallway, took off running, looking for my date, because I just wanted to go home. I feel blessed that I was able to get away.
It's really a shameful disgrace to see how far the news media has plummeted and to see how low people go. But like her story, there's just not much more to say. Jewel Allison. Jewel Allison is another one of the Cosby accusers that wasn't actually raped by Bill Cosby, but has a story to tell. She had an interview with the Son of Man from the New Nation of Islam, and it was better, more informative, and more compelling than any of the other interviews I've seen with these women on primetime TV. With the permission from the New Nation of Islam, I'm going to let it play. You can find the whole interview on one of the links I leave below.
Did Bill Cosby rape you?
I didn't say he raped me.
Okay, well so we don't need to talk about rape. If he didn't rape you, then we don't need to throw that in here.
Okay, so I just spent an incredibly long period of time researching a bunch of these women who are accusing Bill Cosby of rape. And I just couldn't get through them all. There's just way too many. And it was difficult to find much information about some of them. But I did cover a lot of them. Okay. When I went through them all the ones that are not highlighted here are ones that seemingly look to be fake to me. Now, the ones that are not filled in, okay, like for instance, I'll just color code these as well, so it makes it easier. Maybe I should just, I think I can control Y. Yeah, there we go. These I didn't have time. I couldn't find enough information about some of these. I mean, very little information. And I just didn't get to these down here. I didn't have time to get to them. It's just taking forever trying to research every single one of these. All I did was just type their name in, type in the word Cosby, type in story, and then lied, fabrication, contradiction. And then I went and tried to search for something that sort of exposed something that's not being reported in all the top news stories in the search engine. Okay? Well, all the ones that are not highlighted here are ones that I don't believe are actually legitimate. Okay? And again, I didn't have time to get to these down here. So, and these two here that are yellow, I don't know if they're legitimate or not. There's not enough information, and there's nothing saying they're contradicting anything or lying. There's no information that kind of makes it so that you could question what they said. So, I mean, it's just, you don't know what to do with those. I mean, he could have been raping some of them, you know, that's kind of what, we don't know. That's the whole point. They put it in the court of public opinion and basically lynch him on TV and on the media. And it's really interesting how they lynched him. I mean, look at this. It's not as if they didn't spend a long period of time developing this. Look at all the color. They set it up to be all people in white. Like they're pure as the driven snow. These women are good women. Oh, what happened to all my images? Just a sec. Okay, so my page wasn't loading at first, but you can see all these women are wearing white, and you can see they highly touched up their pictures to make them look all innocent and like they're all highly respectable and, you know, pure and innocent women that were drugged and raped by this evil serial rapist, psychotic black dude named Bill Cosby, right? See, they're all in white, and they got that, you know, that white look to them. Yeah. Okay. And it's really interesting because here we have the media lynching him. That's what's going on right here. Why would they spend so much time putting this together like this? And here's the thing. like I said, all these that are not highlighted here are easily debunkable. You can't tell me that all those media outlets didn't know that these were pathetic stories that could easily be refuted. And I mean, let's just go through a few of them here, okay? Beverly Johnson, okay? Former manager claims she lied about Bill Cosby accusations. Let's see here. Let me scroll this down here. She said she had brunch with him and his wife, and it was a great experience. Then on The View, it flip-flopped. Gibble said, referring to Johnson's recent appearance on popular ABC TV daytime chat fest, "It was odd to me that she changed her story. She said she was drugged and raped. I just remember that was not in the conversation we had, and we had it repeatedly. It was brunch. It was just one time. It was a typical, nice, pleasant experience. It can be easily proven that Camille Cosby was at that brunch, so it is kind of dumb for her to lie." Yeah, so she changed her story to fit into this whole narrative. Okay? Patricia Leary Stewart. Contradiction number one. The other Jane Doe that is represented by the underlined is Patricia Leary Stewart. It appears that she is now only claiming that Cosby offered her 2 white pills and is no longer calling them Quaaludes. Okay, proof that it's not rape by her own words. I wanted to spend time with him because this is the man who said he was going to help me with my career, so I thought, okay, I'll take the pills. I really had no idea what his modus operandi was. Not that I blame myself or that I feel responsible, but I allowed my ambition to overrule my judgment. I placed my trust in a flawed human being. I don't want to ever be seen as a victim. And see, all of these I got on these different links. I put the links here. I'm going to just post this this Excel document in this video as well. Linda Joy Traits claims Cosby tried to drug and assault her more than 40 years ago. Traits came forward with her allegations in the last few days. Facebook post, she says he drove out to the beach and opened a briefcase filled with assorted drugs and kept offering me pills. So, there's no rape there being alleged. Just he offered her pills in a suitcase, like people do that. Okay. Turns out she has a long criminal history. Traits got out of prison in 2012 after serving more than 3 years for trafficking, oxycodone, possession of controlled substance, and obtaining a controlled substance by fraud. She's been arrested or charged with various crimes, including identity fraud, battery theft, various drug offenses. You see what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, she's white as the driven snow. Maybe let's go find her on this page here. I don't know if she's on this page. Let's see if she's over here. Was it this one? What was her name? T-R... Oh yeah, here she is. She's as white as the driven snow. She's such an innocent, fragile flower of a human being who lies and was in prison for 3 years for drug trafficking herself and claims that what did she claim? That he took out a briefcase and offered her a bunch of drugs. Okay. I'm sorry, I just don't believe half the stuff that's being said here. Okay, this is Kayla Thompson. She never claims he raped her. She's reading from a script. Let's see here. This one was kind of weird. Let me figure this out. Okay. Okay, well, what it was how she was responding. Am I on the right one here? Actually, I was on Linda Brown. I'm sorry. It was the way she was responding to the camera. It looked very fake. That was the whole thing with her. It just looks extremely faked and acted out. Kind of like that first video I showed you. Maybe not that bad. That was pretty bad. Kayla Thompson, she never claims he raped her. He rather tried to get her in bed with him. Okay. I'm sure there's a few guys out there who've done that. Tamara Green, several years ago, Green was suspended from practicing law by the State Bar of California and was placed in probation. The court found that Green had a mental health problem, and the court found that there was sufficient evidence of a nexus between that mental health issue and respondent's misconduct in this proceeding. Green also failed to disburse a $20,000 medical settlement to a client and instead pocketed the settlement for herself. Okay, you get the idea. Not clean or white as a driven snow, clearly. Is she in here? I'm sure she is. Is she in here? Yep. Oh, here she is. Doesn't she look white as a driven snow? Maybe you can't see her. Maybe my face is in the way here. Let's see. There she is. She has mental health issues, man. Okay. Okay. Suni Wells, no tears while crying and reading from a script. Same kind of thing. It looks like acting. Therese, I mean, see, we only have so much things to go off here. You know, they say something, they say an allegation. All we have is what we see in the media, and of course they're trying. Well, it looks like they're trying to lynch Bill Cosby, right? So clearly, I mean, unless they screw up, we're not going to really see anything. And the screw ups are them contradicting themselves, saying one thing and then changing the story later, or maybe their history of having like drug problems themselves, or being completely broke. And like that one first lady I showed you there, she actually, the first lady in the beginning of this video, she's been so broke that she just keeps suing everybody, and she sued Walgreens also recently for some settlement. She just keeps suing everybody so she can get money, and clearly she doesn't know how to act, as you saw. It's pretty pathetic. I think I could act better than her. I think anybody off the street could. With an IQ of 40, I mean, could probably do better. I don't even know if you can have an IQ of 40. 60 or 80. Okay, really low IQ, they could do better than her. Okay, Therese claims that she was drugged and raped by Bill Cosby in 1976, but despite allegedly being raped, she admits to continuing a sexual relationship with Bill Cosby for years after the alleged rape. Okay, so he allegedly raped her, and she's like, wow, that was terrible, and it's so horrible, but I'm going to keep having sex with you for a long period of time, and have a relationship with you. Okay. If that's what you want to believe, okay. If you want to believe that people actually do that, whatever. Okay, I'm trying to use logic here. Beth Furrier claims she was sexually assaulted by Cosby in the mid-'80s, but she also claims she was in a consensual relationship with Bill Cosby for months. Oh my goodness gracious, people. Seriously? What are we doing here? Are we now going for the Sweden's version of rape, where basically you have sex with a woman and then the next day she wakes up and she's like, oh, that was a bad idea. I should not have had sex with that dude. I feel like I was raped, even though I completely consensually agreed to that sex. I feel like it was rape now. I just wasn't in my right mind for some reason yesterday. Maybe I was having too much fun. Maybe I drank a beer or something. I don't know. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't drugged. I just had too much fun, you know, and I had consensual sex, never said no. Next day, wake up, you raped me because I don't like you, and why the heck did I sleep with that dude? Yeah, that's what they actually do in Sweden now. So, like, women can wake up the next day, even if they're completely in their right mind, not drugged, never drank anything, just changed their mind the next day and didn't like the dude, and they can accuse him of rape. Isn't that nice? So awesome, isn't it? Okay, so that's where we're going now, I guess, apparently. Carla Ferrigno, she was never raped. Bill just came onto her and she rejected it. So now she gets to join this huge caravan of alleged raped women, even though she wasn't raped. But it helps to make it look like it's a lot of chicks, you know? I'm sorry for my sarcasm, okay? This is the one. She wasn't raped. She never said she was raped. But, you know, she's got the white robe of purity on, like she's a virgin that's never been tainted until Bill Cosby touched her. And he never raped her, by the way. He just came on to her, so. Janice Dickinson. There's a glaring contradiction between what she is claiming now for the first time and what she wrote in her own book, and what she told the media back in 2002. Miss Dickinson did an interview with the New York Observer in September 2002 entitled Interview with a Vamp, completely contradicting her news story about Bill Cosby. That interview a dozen years ago said she didn't want to go to bed with him and he blew her off. Her publisher, HarperCollins, can confirm that no attorney representing Mr. Cosby tried to kill the alleged rape story, since there was no such story, or tried to prevent her from saying whatever she wanted about Bill Cosby in her book. The only story she gave 12 years ago to the media in her autobiography was that she refused to sleep with Mr. Cosby and he blew her off. But now she was raped by him. 12 years later, the story changed and now she's raped by him. If you want to believe it, whatever, okay? I'm trying to use my brain here. Okay, I'm just, there is always the possibility that one or two of these girls were actually raped by him. I don't know, okay, because I'm not God. I didn't see what happened. And all we have is what's in front of us, right? And we don't know exactly. But the fact that most of these women are clearly lying and making things up makes me think this is a coordinated effort to just lynch the guy. And the fact that he was already lynched in the court of public opinion, I just, I feel like defending him because it's just ridiculous. If I can already debunk like 75% of these women as being complete frauds and liars, why should I believe the other 25%? What's going on here? Why isn't anybody doing any due diligence and checking these sources out? Of course, we don't care, do we, media? We don't care about due diligence. We don't like to research anything. We just want to make a big story. Look, this wicked dude, a serial rapist. Look at all these women, these innocent flowers, which, of course, you already know a lot of these women are not innocent now and are not raped either. But they want to paint this picture and they want you to believe it, But you know what? Maybe one or two of them were raped. I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay, Cosby would know. He's saying he didn't do anything. So the fact that most of them are lying, and it's pretty obvious, I'm siding with Cosby here, okay? I'm sorry, but innocent till proven guilty. This is the way I look at it. Okay. Chilin Lasha. Public records show that Lasha has a long criminal rap sheet. She has been arrested for crimes including false reporting and prostitution. False reporting. That sounds a little familiar, don't it? Lasha was arrested in 2007 and charged in Arizona with false reporting to law enforcement and trespassing. She pled guilty. She was also arrested on numerous other occasions for things like fighting, trespassing, assault, disorderly conduct, and prostitution. But she is an innocent woman. That's, well, the picture's not showing. Show picture. Can you show me the picture, please? Oh, we can't see her. Okay, I got it to work finally, I think. Oh my goodness. You know how these websites are, they got like 100 ads on them, so it's hard to load them. But you can see she's in her white purity robe. She's as innocent as the driven snow. She was clearly, well, she's got a long criminal rap sheet. I mean, I guess anybody could put a white dress on, right? Helen Hayes. Story seems very odd and unlikely and has no rape in it. She says, Bill found us again Saturday night, even though we had changed restaurants several times to avoid him. What the frick, dude? Said Hayes. At first, we thought it was all right because it was daytime and because it was Bill Cosby. Okay, whoa. It's daytime. I understand the daytime part, but she said it's Bill Cosby like he's a bastion of righteousness, right? But she just said she was trying to avoid him and changed the restaurant several times. So she was already thinking something was wrong with Bill Cosby. That's why she changed the restaurant several times. But the next sentence is, but it's Bill Cosby, the guy with the pudding guy, the guy that was on the Cosby Show, that guy, the really nice guy. So we felt safe, but we didn't feel safe because we changed the restaurant several times because he's a stalker. But he was safe. Total contradiction here. What is wrong with you people? Scatterbrained. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, but then When he found us at the last restaurant, he approached me from behind and reached over my shoulder and grabbed my right breast. Well, that's not very nice, Bill Cosby. That's really wrong. I don't even believe this. Okay, she says that she's trying to get away from him, but he's an innocent, righteous dude. Then he grabs her breast. That doesn't make any sense. It's just retarded. I don't believe you, okay? This chick, almost all these chicks were like Playboy chicks, like a third of them. This one was one of them. PJ Maston has accused another man also of raping her in the past named Marv Albert. I already covered this earlier. Remember I was explaining how she faked that she was raped by Marv Albert and made a clone of herself of another victim who was a real victim, and that real victim said she was a fake victim of Marv Albert. And even Marv Albert says, I don't even know you categorically, right? And then now she's cloned herself into the Bill Cosby one, saying she's raped as well. She's got some weird thing going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Janice Baker Kinney, not alleging rape, but rather willingly took drugs, but thinks he did it to do something to her. I blame myself, said Janice, who told Snow that she was 24 when Cosby assaulted her. But unlike many of the others, Kinney said that she did accept the pills from Cosby, and I apologized to him for passing out. She said, when I think about it, how I apologized to him knowing what I know now, it makes my skin crawl, because she believes all these other women, which I've already debunked. So maybe he just like giving drugs out to chicks, which is not good either. I'm not saying giving drugs out to chicks is good. I'm not saying going around and sleeping with anybody and everybody's good. I'm not saying any of that stuff. But there's a big difference between giving drugs out to people, having consensual sex, and raping, and putting people into a state where they can't think or function, and then raping them. There's a big difference between all that. Clearly, obviously Bill Cosby was giving out drugs. It ain't rocket science. I mean, all of them are talking about drugs here. So I'm pretty sure he was going around sleeping with chicks, and I'm pretty sure he was giving them drugs. Okay? Whether or not he is raping chicks, that's the thing we're trying to figure out here. And a lot of these stories contradict each other or have already been proven false. So, you know what I mean? This one, Barbara claims she was drugged and raped by Cosby not only once, but on multiple occasions over the course of many years. She claimed Cosby would pay for her to get on planes and fly to different cities where he could re-rape her over and over again. What the Okay, we're talking Sweden rape here. We're talking Sweden rape. So, but in this case, you can have consensual sex for years and years and years, and then afterwards, like, wait a second, that dude sucks. I don't like the fact that I had sex with that dude for years and years consensually. I think he raped me now, because it's just, I feel raped, because I didn't get what I wanted out of it. So I was raped. It's called Sweden rape there. Sweden rape. But Bowman explained the reasoning behind these accusations by claiming that Cosby brainwashed her into positioning herself to fly around. So it's Cosby with his drugs and brainwashing, MK Ultraing these chicks and raping them over and over while they consensually agreed to it. And then later, years and years later, they decide, man, I shouldn't have had sex with that dude. What the heck am I supposed to think here? I mean, am I supposed to actually believe this? That she was like, he had some sort of mental chain on her and he was like controlling her mind? I don't believe it. Okay. Claims she was raped in the fall of 1969 at the West. This is Joan Tarshish. Claims she was raped in the fall of 1969 at the Westbury Music Festival by Bill Cosby. The only problem is that Cosby did not perform at the Westbury Music Festival in 1969. There's also other inconsistencies in her story, showing it is likely also a fabrication. Well, it's not likely, it is a fabrication. And I didn't do these people. This one I saw it on another page, that's why I got it done. Some of these I saw on another page when I was doing research on the ones above, and I just put them on as I was going down because I didn't want to have to go look it up later again. Lice Latte Lubin. She acts as if she is dying in anguish, but never seems afterwards the least bit distressed, and surely never cries ever. Okay, so what's going on here? Again, it's one of these interviews where it looks clearly fake, and she's never crying. It's just like fake anguish, and it's like really easy to see. So, I mean, we only have that to go off of. I mean, in some cases, that's all you have to go off of. Sometimes they don't contradict themselves or change their story or have a long record of fabricating things and things of that nature. But at any rate, I figured I should go through this because, you know, when you see this here, this is a lie. I mean, this is a straight up lie. 35 women who were raped. Look how innocent they are. They're all right there telling their, you know, story. And they're all wearing white because they're pure and virgins and all that kind of stuff, right? Except for Bill Cosby corrupted them. I mean, that's what the color psychology is, that the white means purity. So they're using color. So they're using psychological tools of color on you. They're using stories that most of them are fabricated to lie to you about a man, telling you he's a serial rapist. And why are they, I mean, what are they selling to us here? They're selling to us that Bill Cosby, the man who did all those pudding commercials, who did Fat Albert, who did The Cosby Show, a great show, talked about family values, told people to stop worshiping gangster rappers and telling people to actually get jobs and stuff like that, you know, normal stuff. That dude, who's actually trying to be a positive role model to black people, that guy, they're lynching him with a bunch of fake stories. Now, clearly, I'm not a reporter, okay? I'm just a dude in my freaking house, and I just looked up some stuff on Google, okay? It wasn't that hard. It was really easy, actually. These dudes, you know, are allegedly reporters that make all these stories and all these news shows. Apparently, Dr. Phil's not smart enough to figure this out. Apparently, all these other dudes that interview can't figure simple stuff like this out. Although Dr. Phil always talks about how he's hundreds of pages of files. He's researched this thing to death before he did his show. But of course, he interviews someone and he can't figure out that they're lying. I mean, it's so hard to figure out, Dr. Phil. It's really so hard. All you guys are so ridiculously pathetic at your job. Why does it take a dude that doesn't even do reporting to find out such simple stuff? Clearly, there's an agenda here. Someone doesn't like Bill Cosby. Maybe because he was trying to buy, what was it, CBS, and he wanted to make a black network, a positive black network, not a bunch of gangsta rappers and, you know, dudes telling you to. Basically, he was trying to be a positive role model to African Americans, not glorifying bad things. That's what he was. He actually had a family in the Bill Cosby Show that was normal and functioning. That's wrong, you know. Look at what they have on TV now, man. I mean, it's all, you know, crumbled, destroyed families, white or black. Just all the shows are pathetic now. Just think of what they used to have on the TV, and now they are destroying the family. And it's just ridiculous what they have on the TV. Clearly somebody has an agenda. They don't like black people being prosperous. They don't like black people being with a whole family unit and behaving. They don't want them to behave in a certain way. They want them to destroy themselves. Somebody does. Somebody, whoever's running this whole thing and this whole charade. Now, some people tell you it's white people doing it, which, I mean, probably a lot of them are white. I don't know. But I don't really think it's white people. I think it's the elite. Luciferians. I think they are psychotic Luciferians that run the world. That are... Imagine a person who has unlimited money, and he got that money because he made a contract with the devil. Do you think he has any morals? He likes watching people suffer. That rich bastard, that elite bastard, he likes watching people suffer. He doesn't want to see someone like Bill Cosby running a huge network and providing good content to the world. He doesn't want that because he's a Luciferian. He worships, this elite guy worships the devil. Obviously, he doesn't like good things. He's probably doing some pretty sick stuff in the background. I'm pretty sure of it. You can go do some research. You'll find a lot of crazy stuff. Just trust me, okay? Not exactly good people, but they'll pretend to be good. They'll look good. They'll wear the suit, and they'll pretend to be nice, but then behind closed doors, they're doing crazy stuff. Okay, that's just my theory on the whole thing. Of course, you might think I'm crazy, but can you explain to me why a guy in his house is like pointing out something obvious that the media can't seemingly figure out because it's so difficult to understand? And whatever, dude, it's so obvious to me.